Oh, you're not ready for this tea. It all started with what looked like a warm, friendly smile, but not the kind you give a friend at brunch. No, this smile was polished, practiced, like it had been perfected in a mirror under studio lights. Meghan Markle knew exactly what she was doing when she brought Jamie Kern Lima onto her podcast. On the surface, it looked like a brilliant match. Jamie's a self-made billionaire, beauty mogul, and living proof that grit beats glamour. Meghan, she needed that shine on her brand. It was a power move, but oh, behind the scenes, that's where the fairy tale completely fell apart. According to Jamie herself, that interview was nothing close to the heartfelt, raw, emotional moment Meghan's fans were led to believe. In fact, Jamie claims it was a total performance, not a conversation, not even close. Meghan's team didn't just suggest topics, they straight up handed Jamie a script. We're talking emotional cues, suggested angles for the camera, even moments they wanted her to cry, like they were literally choreographing vulnerability. And Jamie, she played along, at first, but once the cameras stopped rolling, bam, something switched. Meghan dropped that soft-spoken, wounded Duchess act like a coat in summer. She went cold, sharp, straight to business. No more sighs, no emotional tremble in her voice, just a CEO wrapping up a meeting. Jamie was left stunned. That whiplash didn't leave her, and months later, she couldn't keep quiet anymore. Now let's be clear, Jamie didn't run to some trashy tabloid or throw shade in an offhand comment. Nope, she went right back to her own podcast, the same one where Meghan had dropped her supposedly soul-bearing interview and told the whole truth, her truth. She didn't hold back. She said every pause, every tearful eye glisten, every soft sigh, it was all fake. Not spontaneous, not real, directed, controlled, choreographed. The internet went nuclear. People weren't just shocked that Jamie said this, they were shocked that someone so respected, so accomplished would call Meghan out. And not just for being a little dramatic. No, Jamie was accusing Meghan of being a manipulator, of scripting pain, of selling fake emotions for clout. And when your entire brand is built on speaking your truth, that kind of exposure is lethal. Jamie said she stayed quiet at first to avoid drama, but when the episode aired and people flooded her inbox praising Meghan for being so authentic and so raw, Jamie said she felt sick. Because the version of Meghan people were falling in love with? According to Jamie, she didn't even exist. That's when the betrayal really hit. Suddenly, Meghan wasn't just facing her usual critics. No, this time it was someone from inside her circle, a guest on her own show, calling her out for full-blown deception. Not just stretching the truth, not exaggerating. She was being accused of creating a character, scripting emotion, turning trauma into clickbait. And Meghan? Oh, she snapped. Insiders say she was absolutely raging, screaming, pacing, demanding her team shut it down, get the podcast pulled, issue a correction, something. But Jamie? Unbothered. She didn't blink. In fact, she doubled down. She said she had receipts, and she teased a follow-up Q&A episode where she'd spill even more. Hollywood sat up. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was a full-on brand meltdown. Meghan's value wasn't just in her royal title, it was in her image, her truth-teller persona, her I survived and now I inspire story. And that image, it was starting to crack. Suddenly, PR firms were whispering. Brands were checking their contracts. Can we trust her? Became the question echoing in every boardroom from LA to London, and nobody had a clear answer. Backstage at Meghan's world, chaos. See, this wasn't just some salty blogger calling her out. This was Jamie Kern Lima, beloved, respected, billion-dollar brand to her name, zero motive to lie. Her whole identity built on being real. So when she said Meghan's podcast appearance was a performance, people didn't just listen, they believed her. And for Meghan, the timing couldn't have been worse. She had been quietly laying the groundwork for her next big chapter. Less royals, more reinvention. Think Oprah 2.0. There were whispers about lifestyle brands, production deals, inspirational content built around healing, faith, empowerment. Meghan was ready for her rebrand. But that dream, suddenly, it started unraveling fast. Word spread in Montecito that Meghan hadn't been invited to a recent Harpo dinner party. Yep, Oprah's inner circle was gathering, and Meghan didn't make the list. For someone trying to walk in Oprah's footsteps, that was a red alert. No invite, no trust. Behind closed doors, her team scrambled. Crisis PR kicked into high gear. Legal teams circled the wagons. But no matter how fast they moved, the damage was spreading faster. Meghan's name started disappearing from email chains, paused on brand collaborations, whispered about in rooms where deals get made. A rep at a major fashion house admitted it. A Meghan campaign was in the works, but suddenly, on hold. They couldn't risk it, not while manipulative was trending with her name attached. Let's not forget, this isn't just a bad week for Meghan, it's a pattern. People started connecting the dots. The Spotify deal? Canceled. Her podcast, Archetypes? Criticized for being too polished, too shallow. That Invictus documentary? Didn't exactly break Netflix. Suddenly, Meghan's whole empire looked fragile, like a house of cards built on camera angles and perfect lighting. And now it all looks scripted. The voice cracks in the Oprah interview, the perfectly timed tears. Even her wedding speech, once praised for its poetic soul, now had people saying, wait, was that a TED Talk in disguise? Every version of Meghan people had seen over the years, royal rebel, mental health advocate, survivor, speaker, wife, mother, self-help sage, started feeling less like identities and more like roles, crafted, tailored, sold. Jamie claimed Meghan's team handed her emotional moments ahead of time, like beats in a script, not just suggestions, directions. That wasn't branding, that was acting. And for someone whose entire brand is built on being real, that's a betrayal. The worst part? More people started whispering. A Netflix editor said Meghan demanded full approval over every cut, not to look her best, but to control everything. Another producer said working with her was like filming a documentary where the subject thinks they're the director, the star, the editor, and the audience. Even her fans began to crack. One viral tweet hit hard. I defended Meghan for years. I believed in her. Now I feel like I got played. It wasn't hatred, it was heartbreak. People weren't angry, they were hurt. But Meghan? She wasn't folding. Inside her team, plans were brewing. Legal threats, strategic leaks, a possible tell-all. She wanted to snatch the narrative back, but for now, she stayed silent. Radio silent. And Jamie? Oh, she kept going. Then came the bombshell teaser. Jamie sat at her mic, cool as ever, and dropped a line that hit like thunder. This isn't about tearing someone down, it's about the truth, and I still have the tapes. The internet went feral. TikTok lit up. Reddit exploded. Everyone wanted to know, what did Meghan say when she thought the cameras were off? When she thought no one was listening? And you know Hollywood. When the tide shifts, it shifts. Publicists started advising their clients to back away. Meghan's defenders, going quiet. Some ran. One former collaborator told Variety, everyone's terrified of being caught in the crossfire. No one wants to be next to the fire. That's when you know it's not gossip anymore. It's reputation survival. The rumors started swirling fast. That Oprah's team was furious. That they felt used. That they were embarrassed to have given Meghan the platform. That maybe, just maybe, the entire monarchy-shaking special they aired wasn't a heartfelt reveal, but a scripted, edited, focus-grouped performance. And if Oprah was fooled, who hasn't been? The idea that someone as powerful and sharp as Oprah could have been spun around Meghan's finger? That sent chills through Hollywood. That changed everything. Meanwhile, Jamie wasn't done. She promised to drop raw, unedited audio from her podcast taping with Meghan, behind-the-scenes clips, off-camera moments. She said she would show how Meghan's team directed the emotion, the angles, the tone. She was done protecting anyone. And Meghan's camp? In full-blown panic mode. The phones were ringing off the hook. Crisis PR, legal threats, back-channel calls to influencers and brand partners begging them not to pull out. There were even whispers about trying to buy time, maybe even offering hush money just to pause the backlash. But it was too late, because this wasn't just a PR nightmare anymore. This was a full-on cultural reckoning. Meghan had built her empire on the idea of overcoming pain, sharing truth, and being real. But now, people were questioning if she faked the pain to build the empire. It was brutal. And the scariest part? This time, Meghan didn't control the cameras. She didn't control the edit. She didn't get final cut. Jamie had the tapes. She had the truth. And she had the momentum. This wasn't about clicks anymore. It wasn't just gossip. This was a takedown from the inside. And as fans, brands, friends, and even Oprah herself pulled back, what Meghan was left with was something no team of stylists, PR reps, or brand strategists could fix. Silence. The woman who once commanded the world's attention by speaking her truth was now being watched for how much of it had been a lie. And Jamie, she didn't look gleeful. She looked free, like someone who'd finally stopped pretending. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't just want a pretty picture or a polished speech, it wants truth. Even when it's messy, even when it's painful, especially when it's real. And when the truth came out, it wasn't Meghan holding the mic, it was Jamie. The mic, it was Jamie.